Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and in today's video you're going to learn my top 5 tips for practicing guitar. Now, picking up your guitar each day to practice is great, but it's not enough. It's what you do in those practice sessions that counts. And it's in this video today that I'm going to show you how to set up a great practice session and how to make sure you're doing the right things during it so you get the most from the time you invest into your playing. So we're going to be looking at the best way to warm up at the beginning of a practice session. We'll look at how to set up optimal practice conditions. We'll look at the benefits of recording yourself when practicing, the importance of breaking things up and playing slowly, and the difference between practice versus playing. So let's get to it. Tip 1 is warm up. Now, most people probably do warm up, but there's much more we can get from warming up than simply warming up our fingers. Obviously, the benefit is you warm up your fingers to play. The problem is a lot of people do these sort of, 4-note per string type warm up drills, or maybe the spider crawl, all this stuff that warms your fingers up, absolutely. But there's more we can get from a warm-up session if we go about it correctly. So yes, warming up your fingers. However, the other 2 criteria to a great high-value warm-up session is something that is musical. So use something that's musical. That's not very musical, those chromatic exercises. Could be part of a song, could be a finger-picking pattern, could be a chord sequence, could be some part of a solo, whatever. Just something that's musical. It doesn't have to sound musical when you're warming up on it necessarily, but you're laying some, ground for, developing your skills in a particular area of your playing as well as warming up. And the 3rd criteria is to keep your brain engaged. So you don't do something that's musical that warms your fingers up, but you can click off up here, that it's already, in your fingers and you're just mindlessly, running through. Yes, you'll warm your fingers up, but again, that's all that you'll do in that particular part of your practice session. If you get something that's challenging, not too challenging. If it's really challenging, you won't move your fingers too much over that, 2-3 minute warm up part of your practice. So something that's still going to keep your brain engaged. If you find that you're just clicking off thinking about other things, you're not having to think about what your fingers are doing, then it's time to change what you warm up on. Don't warm up on the same thing day in, day out, month in, month out, etc. You can certainly use the same thing for, as long as it keeps your brain engaged, basically. Okay, and then you can add layers of challenge to it if you like, or just choose something completely different to warm up on. Now, I've got a video that goes into this in much more detail, so I'm going to link to that in the top right corner so you can bookmark that for later. Tip 2 is simple but really effective, and that is create optimal conditions for your practice. So what does that mean exactly? Well, find a quiet place to practice where you're not going to be disturbed. Unless someone's dying or the house is on fire, as they say, make sure no one disturbs you. Turn off, notifications on your phone, or just turn your phone off. Turn your computer off. If you need to access the internet while you're online, practicing, fine, get online, but close browser windows, notifications, anything that might distract you. It makes a huge difference if you can have uninterrupted time to practice, even if it's just 10 minutes. You're going to get a lot more from it if you're not distracted. And in today's world, we all easily get distracted. So we've got to, have safeguards against this. The other thing is practice at the same time of day, or at a time of day that you're going to be most alert. So for me, it's not the only time I practice, but I always make sure I practice first thing in the morning because I'm most awake then, I'm energized, I'm fresh, and I will take in information better than if I pick up my guitar late afternoon, for example. It's not that I don't, but I always practice in the morning at the very least. So find that time of day if you can around other commitments you've got where you will be most alert. That might not be the morning for you, it might be nighttime, whatever works, okay? But time of day makes a big difference. And the other thing is be prepared ahead of time. Like have picks ready, have your capo if you need it, the tuner's there, the song is queued up if you're working on a song, you've got your music organized. All these things make a big difference, especially when they're compounded. So if you've got quiet time, no distraction, it's at a time of day where you can really focus and everything is in front of you that you need for that practice session, the momentum will build and you will get a lot, even if it's just a 10-minute session. Tip 3 is to record yourself when practicing guitar. Now, I don't mean record yourself every single time you sit down to practice guitar, not probably even close to that, but regularly record yourself. And there's 3 reasons why you want to do this. 1, quality of your practice. So if you just use your phone. When I say record too here, I don't mean, through some, DAW on your computer. I'm just talking about get your phone, voice recorder, hit record, and away you go. This is not for anyone else, but for you to hear. And as I said, the first reason is quality of practice. So hit record and then forget that you're recording. Just leave it be and go about what you're going to do. It's just fly on the wall stuff here, right? And maybe this is for a 5 or 10 minute little section of your practice. You don't have to have this recording for the full practice if you're practicing for half an hour or an hour. But just a sample time of your practice, fly on the wall recording, go about what you're going to do that. And then after your practice session, listen back immediately, because you might be surprised when you hear back what you hear. You don't want to hear noodling, where you just moving from one thing to another, not really focusing on anything. You don't want to hear mistakes that are repeated over and over. Okay, that's a real common one. It's okay to make a mistake, of course, but you then want to address that mistake. You want to drill down to it. Maybe you need to slow it down. Maybe you need to isolate it more. If you just hear yourself repeating, trying to get it correct, and time in, time out over that little practice that you recorded, you just hear the same mistake over and over. Even though your intention is right, I want to get this correct, it's not happening. And what happens is you just practicing the mistake over and over. So we don't necessarily realize this so much when we're in the act of practicing. But if you've got a recording there and you hear it back, that's objective proof that that's going on, then you want to do something about that, right? So quality of practice is first reason why you might want to do some recording. Reason 2 is improvement over time. So this is a little bit different. Record yourself playing something, again, just on your phone, a piece or something you're doing that's, not perfect, somewhere in the, development stages. It could be quite raw and, in pieces, wherever it's at. You just want to get a snapshot of where it's at that particular moment in time. Okay, so let's say it's June in 2024 and you're going to practice, or you are practicing a piece and you're just going to record yourself playing it as best you can in that moment. Do that, save it, date it, and then, go about practicing in the days that follow and even the weeks that follow. And, you continue to practice that piece. And maybe a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, maybe a month later, you record it again. Maybe, depending on the situation, but maybe every week, if you're working on it regularly, record it. And then compare those recordings back to each other. And you should hear improvement. You don't always hear it yourself, because every time you sit down to practice guitar, you're there, right? So you don't really notice the incremental little improvements you make from one session to the next. But if you can get a snapshot of how something was sounding, last month, and then this month, 4 weeks or so later, here it is, you'll hear massive improvement, and that does everything for your confidence as a guitar player. If you don't hear improvement, then that's important to know, because there must be something in between those recordings that you're not doing correctly when practicing that piece. So it's not bad because you're aware of something not working. The worst thing is something not working, not being aware of it and just continuing to do it. Okay, so reason number 2 for recording yourself is to recognize the improvement that you do make over time. And reason 3 is to get an objective view of your playing. So this is really big. Record yourself, again, semi-regularly, playing some things, pieces, etc. Maybe this is perhaps something that's a little bit more complete, but not necessarily. Record yourself playing it and then listen back to it. And this is not leaving it for a month. Not like this isn't to see improvement over time. Listen back to it either immediately, or sometimes it's good to give it a little bit of space. Maybe you listen to it at the beginning of your next practice schedule, at the beginning of your next practice session, right? So it's, you've had 24 hours. You'll be surprised when you listen back. A lot of the time you'll be surprised because it will sound a lot better than what you thought it did. It's very different when you're in the act of playing and you're the player right? Obviously in that moment. But when you listen back, you're not the player anymore. Yes, it's you playing, but you are listening to yourself, just like you would listen to someone else play. It's very powerful. And you will either listen back and you'll be like, wow, that doesn't sound too bad. And I've had that experience many times where I've thought I've sounded a bit average, wasn't too happy with the performance. I listened back and it was like, wow, that is a lot better than what I thought, which gives you a lot of confidence again when you go out and play. And sometimes you listen back and you're disappointed. You thought it was better than what it actually does sound back. So it can work both ways. But again, that's good to know. In the moment, it doesn't feel great, but it's good to know because you're then aware of something that's not right that you thought was, right? It's very easy to play and think it all sounds great, hear it back and be disappointed. But it's also common to play and not think it sounds so good, listen back and be like, wow, that sounds pretty good. They're the 3 reasons for recording yourself: quality of practice, improvement over time, and to get an objective view. Tip 4 is an oldie but a goodie: break things up and play slowly. Now, I say it time and time again, if all my students did this regularly, consistently, they would have so far fewer issues with their playing. It really, really is important. So here's a couple of things regarding this. Take what you think is slow and then halve it, okay? That's going to be more around where it needs to be. Another tip is within this one, is to commentate what you are playing. Actually speak verbally what you're doing, because it forces you to slow down. So let's say I've got like a Travis picking pattern that I'm working on, right? And I'm getting the mechanics of this down, and I'm in the stages of getting it down. I haven't quite got it, right? Let's say that's the situation. I would sit there and practice and I go, okay, my thumb plays the 5th string, plays the 4th string, my index plays the 3rd, my thumb plays the bottom string on the 3rd fret, my middle finger plays the 2nd string, my thumb's back on 4, and my index is on the 3rd. Notice how slow I played that. Even if you're a little inaccurate in which string you say you're plucking at the time, you want to try and be accurate with it, but more the point is that it forces you to slow down. You've got to verbalize what you're doing. Thumb plays 5, thumb plays 4, index plays 3rd, thumb plays 6, it's my middle playing 2nd, thumb back on 4, index on 3rd, right? This is how slow I played it. Okay, so slowing down, I won't go on about it here. Enough has been said about this probably on my channel, and you hear it everywhere, but you hear it everywhere because it's so important. And what you think is slow is not slow enough. Halve it, now you're in the ballpark of where you need to be. Tip 5 is make sure you're practicing guitar when you are practicing guitar. Now, it sounds kind of weird, but what happens is a lot of people get caught up playing guitar during practice time. So this is when you do stuff you can already do. And of course, it feels great when you nail something and you can do it. So you want to do it, right? But when you're sitting down to actually practice, make sure you're working on the things you can't do yet. They're in some stage of development. Don't get caught playing guitar. Of course, have time to play guitar. Set time aside, jam, etc., write music, whatever, right? But when you're sitting down to practice, make sure you're working on the things you cannot do yet, right? They're anywhere from the very beginning to, okay, now I've got it, I've mastered it, right? They're the things you want to work on. People get this the wrong way around. What happens a lot of the time is when people are practicing, they're actually really playing guitar, not thinking, just clicking off and, going about doing things they can already do. And then when it's time to play, whether it's some sort of performance or jamming, they think too much. That's the time to click off and just play. Just trust your fingers. Let them do what you've trained them to do, right? Practice time is for engaging the brain. Playing is really time to disengage the brain. No time to be thinking. If you like this video, you'll love this ebook complete with video examples called 10 Melodic Fingerpicking Patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. Do you struggle to make the fingerpicking patterns you learn on guitar sound like music? Perhaps it's because you believe in one or more of these fingerpicking pattern myths. 1. You need to know a lot of patterns to have your fingerpicking sound musical. 2. Only advanced fingerpicking patterns sound musical. Easy patterns are too basic to sound any good. Or 3. There is a magic pattern out there somewhere that once found will finally have your fingerpicking sound the way you want it to. None of these myths are true. This is because fingerpicking patterns alone are not musical. they're technical. It's what you do with the patterns that will determine how musical they sound. In this ebook, you learn how to make the most boring fingerpicking patterns sound amazing instantly. Plus, the simple trick to make advanced fingerpicking patterns easier to play. And the thumb and one finger trick that's so simple and will have your fingerpicking sounding pro in no time. Click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook complete with video examples, 10 melodic fingerpicking patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I love to hear from you. I read the comments, I take note. Many of the suggestions do end up becoming videos, so don't be shy. Drop us a line below this video. If you like this particular video, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the all-important notification bell button. You might think you're subscribed because you see my videos pop up in your feed, but that does not necessarily mean you are. So I appreciate the subscription if you like the channel. Thank you so much for being here once again. I really do appreciate the time you take to watch my videos. This is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.